I'm up at Installer Live in the NEC and I'm with Ethan from ThermaSkirt, and I've seen skirted radiators for years. This is a wet system, not an electrical system, am I right?
We do have both actually.
You've got both?
Yeah, we do have both.
Well, I've fitted the wet system. I've never bothered with the electric one, and there's two things that I don't necessarily like about it. One is that cosmetically a lot of customers gone, oh, I don't want that.
Yeah.
And I notice actually yours is a lot nicer looking. It used to be quite industrial. It was good for an office, but it wasn't good for somebody's house. You solved that problem.
Correct,
the other problem is that it kind of relies on quite a high flow temperature to get the output, because it's radiant heat. There's nothing convecting there, is there?
It's not. You're right. It's not a convection heater. That's true. But you're not right on the flow temp. So even at low flow temperatures, we can still get decent heat output on it. So, you know, we do quite a bit of work with heat pumps. That's really why we're here.
Oh, okay.
So 60 watts a meter and 90 watts a meter on the two profiles. Even at 40 degrees. On the boiler, you're getting up to 180 watts a meter.
We're looking at an average room, and you put a radiator in one position.
Yeah.
What you're saying is you can equal the volume of that radiator.
If you imagine taking all the skirting boards off in a room and chopping them into 1 meter sections and stacking them up, you know, it's about the size of your radiator.
Yeah, good point.
So you can see what it looks like. So you mentioned the stuff in the 70s was quite deep, like 2 inches deep, big copper pipe, aluminium fins on it.
Yeah.
This is really, you know, the only product on the market that actually does look like a skirting board, which is why customers accept it.
Yeah.
You know, they're looking for designer radiators, they're looking for underfloor heating. You'll know yourself, fitting underfloor heating in a retrofit is not always the most straightforward job. So the whole extrusion is aluminium, so it's one aluminium extrusion.
So you're getting a good conductivity there.
Yeah, really good conductivity. You got the oval pipes. People always think, why the hell have you done oval pipes? But you get a very, very good contact of water with the front face.
Yeah, and you
get a very slim profile, high water volume. So that water volume is the equivalent of an 18 mil circle. It's 20 mil overall with the total depth of skirting. Yeah. And it fits onto the wall with these mounting brackets.
Wow.
So basically that's how the bracket system works. So you lock those on.
Clever.
So we continually develop the product to make it easy to install. I mean, the profile itself, it will just snap onto the brackets like that.
Really good, yeah.
First of all, we need a 15 mil pipe. Everything's push fit, so we don't have to do any hot works on site. That adapts into our system, which is 15 to an oval connection. The oval connection is specified to the product, but also gives you a bigger flow rate, because we're now increasing the flow rate through the centre of the oval.
Well, that's the first time I've ever seen that, an oval push fit.
I don't think you can put a pattern on a circle. It's a 15 mil circle, so we had to change and design the product to suit what we was going to design. So we came up with the oval design, and then we realised that also increases the flow rate now, because we've gone to almost 20 mil of pipe run. The pipes are actually part of the profile. So a lot of people seem to think that where do we add the pipes and then put a fascia on front? We don't actually add any pipes. This is a radiant heat panel, so the heat is generated from the pipework that is already part of the moulding, and the heat transfers from the front. We would also put a foil liner behind the back of this, because some properties might have a cavity wall, some properties will have a solid brick wall, and you can lose a bit of the heat through the back. So we put a foil line all the way around the outside edges. We've left it off on this one just so we can show the actual brackets a little bit more.
So what would that be, like an adhesive tape? Is it
we do. It's not the one that we provide. Is not an adhesive one. We just use a staple gun, staple it to the wall all the way around.
Okay. Or use the screws when you're doing the brackets.
Exactly. I'll use the screws to hold it in place.
Do you remember the time when we used to do bay windows and get radiators bent?
We actually do that with the skirting. We can actually have the skirting bent.
That was going to be my next question, because if somebody's got a bay and obviously you're going all the way round, you've got a problem at that point. So what happens there?
Literally half a mile from the company is a metalworks that do all kinds of metal work, and they do the rolling for us. So we take a template. So we'll go to site and survey the curve or the bay. We take a paper template and then take it back to the company, and they'll roll to the template. They're pretty cool. It's a good process that they do.
Wow, that's amazing.
We've just done one with 16 curves. I had the privilege of installing it. It was a tricky one, but we got it done. And
you took them up with plywood or something, didn't you?
I did it all. We use like, you know, the backing wallpaper. It's almost like that kind of paper. It's quite a thick cardboard style paper, but it's pliable, so you can actually work with it.
I know.
It's pretty good. And then we roll it. They roll it out. We check it before we take it, and then they do external ones, internal ones. So if we've got sometimes an architect might do an external wall on a property. On the inside, they do a designer wall, if you like. and they want to skirt that with heated skirting as well, and it can be quite tricky, but
Yeah.
we can do it.
Blimey,
It's
that's
doable.
amazing. And what about an angled bay?
So angled bay, we have a part of the kit that caters for that. So we have a flexible connector kit.
Oh, really?
It's like a convoluted pipe, so it sort
Oh.
of flexes and bends around the corner, so that takes out any bare windows, and then there's a little cover plate that snaps on that hides the pipework behind the back.
Okay, here's one more for you. Going across bifolds, anything going on there?
Yeah, so there's two ways we can jump. I'm assuming there's two sets of bifolds. There's a bifold door that you wouldn't need any heat underneath there. And we would drop pipes under the floorboard to continue the run on the other side. And we can do that on doorways as well. We take skirting to the edge of the door casing, we drop under the floor, across the door, and back up the other side.
And what about airlocks here?
Because it's going down and the skirting is just pipework, we're literally just pipework around a room. We take any air out of the system via the automatic air vent on the end of the skirt.
Oh, is that what you've got? Okay,
We've got a vent on the end of the skirting, we've got a drain on the bottom of the skirting.
Yeah.
The boiler's got an automatic air vent anywhere. There's generally a towel rail in. Tow rails generally stay in the bathroom, so we can also cheat and use that a little bit to vent any unnecessary air. But we do a patio heater that sits in front of the patio doors also. So which is a panel of skirting which lays on it.
I know,
lays
got
on
the
its back
grill
like
in
that.
it, yeah.
And that is it's exactly this panel.
Oh yeah, sorry,
this panel.
it's closed. It's not a grill, yeah.
And we're
not looking for convection, are we?
No, we're not.
looking for
We've got
radiation.
radiant. So what that does, it sits on its back in the channel of the floor, and it creates a thermal barrier in front of the glass because we know that the glass is the heat loss, and this creates a heat barrier, stopping the heat from the cold from coming in. So these are little corner fittings that take the skirting or take the water around the skirting. We're going to insert these into the skirting. You can see that they're elongated. One side is longer than the other, and that's to allow the skirting to expand and contract along the long leg of the elbow.
So to use a bit of lubricant on those?
Exactly, yeah. So the system comes with the silicone grease. Plenty of silicone grease on the O-rings. It also comes with a reaming tool because when you've cut the aluminium, it's quite a sharp edge. So we're using the reaming tool, which is this, and that would ream the aluminium just to take the burr off and create a little bit of a chamfer, and that allows the elbows just to slide in literally as easy as that.
Blimey, that seems a bit loose, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Believe it or not, when these are clipped together, so this piece will clip into the next piece, and the clip that holds the thing together is pressure tested to 15 bar, so 10 times operational pressure. Feed this into the TRV and the lock shield. So we've got a TRV at the top and a lock shield at the bottom. The TRV is to control the temperature, and the lock shield is for balancing purposes. Yeah. So if we've got a bigger room that may need a little bit more better water flow, we can actually control it by locking this down, creating a bit more resistance and sending the water elsewhere. This also, we can run this system on a digital thermostat, so you don't have to have a manual thermostat which is on the front of the skirting. We could have this completely blank with a blanking plate with no thermostat control. It goes to a 2-port valve, up to a screen and control the screen. You can also do the whole house from a manifold, like an underfloor heating manifold. So you've got a set of pipes for each individual room, and that gives you digital control throughout the whole house. So it's quite versatile.
I quite like that idea actually, because then you're just looping into each one, aren't you?
Yeah, correct.
Like you say, 15 mil and then
That's
you're
it.
away. Yeah.
That's it.
That's loads of flow, isn't it?
You could centralise the manifold to the house as well, so you could put on the landing of the house, you could centralise it there, and the runs are short because we're running them to the edge of a door casing. Yeah. So we would use this would be an architrave almost. So if we're on a landing there, we've got the 4 bedrooms, if it's a 4-bedder, we could just bring short runs of pipe work, so we're not running long lengths to the windows where the radiator would be. Yeah, so we're using less water, less pipe work.
Yeah. And do you use an infrared thermometer to just check
test
it?
Yeah, on our commissioning stages, we vent it cold, take all the air out of it cold. We'll then fire the boiler and start to get the heat round there. I use a FLIR camera. Do a heat test on the FLIR camera, just make sure everything's okay. I'll show you how we clip it on. The brackets have got a little ramp at the bottom, so they're adjustable. They move up and down 16 mil to allow for different floor layer. I might want to change this carpet in 12 months, so I'm going to change this to a hardwood floor, which is now 25 mil rather than 22 mil from the carpet. So this can move up, so we don't have to take the skirting off the wall. It's got a little ramp on the clip there, which allows the bottom of the skirting to lock in there. It's also got a piece missing in the middle, and that's to allow a flat screwdriver to go in there. And you can see that the back's almost leaning forward. We can push that with a flat screwdriver and demount the skirting from the clip. So if we ever need to take it off, it's a simple procedure. Just off a little bit and push it back.
Lovely job.
That's the first piece.
I think even I could do that.
Anybody could do this. It's really, really easy.
Right, and like you say, you've reamed out that, and that's a nice bit of grease, bit of silicone in there.
Yeah, that's it. When we fit the elbows in, you can see that we've left quite a big gap at the back.
Yeah.
So that's the cutting allowance for expansion and contraction.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But also it allows us to get the next piece on without interfering with the bracket. So I can literally put this next piece in, plug it into the connection. It's locked in place and I've not interfered with any of the brackets.
Wow.
So it gives me
Is there, if that corner's not quite 90 degrees, is there a little bit of give on it?
Yes, there is, yeah. There's about 5 degrees tolerance on it.
Well,
and then anything over that would move to a flexible connector kit. And then the last piece has got the return manifold at the end, which basically sends the flow into the return and back to the boiler. It's also got a drain at the bottom and a bleed at the top. Yeah. When I'm on site and I'm commissioning, I tend to leave the last piece loose. I tend to leave it off the bracket because it just gives me that freedom of movement to get a pipe on there if I'm struggling in a corner somewhere. Let's be honest, all bedrooms are different shapes and sizes, so I might be in a corner, so I'm going to leave it loose and I'm going to give myself a little bit of room to get a hose pipe on there, or even a little bucket underneath it. I might not have my tools on me, so you know, put a little bucket underneath there, or a little wet pan, and that'll take out any air out of it. So we get to a point where we've forgot to leave the last piece of skirting on, and now you can see that the drain off's quite tight to the floor.
Yes.
How do I get my hose on the bottom of the floor? Because it's too tight. Well, we've got the 16mm adjustment, so we can just put a chisel under there.
Of course, yeah,
and now I can get I use a little 10mm gas manometer pipe, stick that on it, into a bucket, and vent it from the bottom. We've got a rubber gasket that seals the skirting to the wall. So it's got two purposes. First of all, it hides the gap between the skirting and the wall. Also, if you've got deviations on the walls, let's be honest, all houses in the UK these days aren't straight, especially the old ones. So we've got 10mm of allowance for discrepancies in the wall. Okay.
Yeah.
A really good feature.
Did you cut that mitre on there?
Yeah. You cut the mitre at 45 on each corner, and then you just use a bit of the mitre bond to glue an activator, glue it together, and that stops it from, well, the skirting's going to expand and contract, and potentially it might come open. You can see how easy it is when you bit the lube.
Escape.
One of the key things for this is that if you was to decorate or even wallpaper later on down the line, you can literally remove this because we've gained ourselves 10mm there, so we can mask the top of the skirting, we can be as rough as we like with the paint, and then we get the clean finish again with the gasket. I think that's a pretty good feature that we've got.
Yeah, and also you could renew them.
Yeah, you can replace and renew them. It has got an additive in there. I think it's anti-UV, and it's anti-UV is heat resistant as well.
So it's not going to go yellow.
So it doesn't go yellow, yeah.
Good, thank you very much.